Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm so glad you're here to stamp with me. Today I am making a card with the Christmas Pines bundle, which includes the Pretty Pines Thinlits, and these are the Pretty Pines Thinlits. Coordinate with images from this stamp set. And then I'm also using the layering circles, and I am using the cable knit dynamic embossing folder. This is different than any folder you've seen. It is kind of stiff here. You can see I just did get it, but it's also made of much thicker plastic than your average ones, than your regular embossing folders, but it does something really cool. So to use this, I have a piece of Emerald Envy cardstock, and I'm going to take this cardstock and just give it a quick spritz of paper. I might have actually gotten a bit more than I needed. I'm just going to spread that around a little bit. And this is going to help the paper go into the grooves. So then I'm placing that inside of my folder. Okay, so now here I have my Big Shot platform. I am not going to use the thin die adapter, so I have just the regular Big Shot platform. So let's take that away. So this is the newer platform. If you have the old platform, just pick up tab 1 like you would with embossing folders. So I am not using an acrylic plate. I'm just going to put that down right onto that platform and then putting an acrylic plate over it. There's one acrylic plate, the thick folder, and then my platform, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. So then when you take that apart, you take out your paper, and it has really deep grooves. You can see the embossing. The background shows up really well. Like I said, I think I got a little bit too damp down there, but it will dry fairly quickly. So I'm going to set this aside for just a moment, and I'm going to work on my focal image. Okay, because I am working with a photopolymer set, I am using my Stampin' Pierce pad, and I'm going to stamp over that piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to be embossing the new, this is the new Real Red Glitter Embossing Powder. It has the glitter right mixed into it. My first step is to brush my embossing buddy over the top of that and ink up my image, and I'm going to ink it up really well with Versamark. Okay. And let's stamp that. I'm going to be cutting this out with a circled die, so I'm giving myself some space there. Ooh, look at all that pretty glitter. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I sure can here. Okay, so I just put it in one more time. There we go. Now I like the coverage that I have, and I'm going to dump this back into the jar. Okay, let's heat set this. You do not want to overheat it or it'll melt back into the paper, so you warm up your heat tool, and then I'm going to watch carefully as I heat set it. It changes a bit so I can see that it's set. Okay, let's see if I can you see that glitter as I kind of put it through the light? So with a die from the Layering Circles die, I'm just going to place that over that and run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so I've cut that out. Now I'm going to pull back in this cable knit, and with a piece of Emerald Envy card base, I'm just going to use my fast fuse. And one of the tips that I've had a couple places now is that you do not want to put your finger on the top here when you're using their fast fuse. Hold your fingers off to the side like this and still do the check mark, but you will have much better luck, or you'll not have less frustration with that fast fuse. Okay, so placing down my cable knit, and then now the next step is to place this down, and I think I'm going to put that about right there. Okay, let's place that about there. Okay, so now with those dies, I have cut out some pieces already. I've cut out a couple of these pine boughs, a bow, and another floral piece. So this is what it looks like when you run it through the Big Shot, and I just ran it through with the magnetic platform. And sometimes they're a little tricky to get out, so that's when you use your die brush and you just rub it over on the sponge and it pops it right out just like that. I like to put these down. I actually like to use dot adhesive on my silicone, the silicone pad, and if I do it right over the silicone pad, it will just come right up. And I have really good luck with it, doing it this way. Put that down. Then I'm going to put the Emerald Envy down. Go. With this one, I did figure out kind of, I'm going to tuck it under a little bit here, and so I kind of pulled off just a few of the branches there, just to make it a bit shorter to fit where I wanted it. Okay. One down. The same thing there, I tore off a little bit of that stem. There you go. And there is my card front with the glitter on the sentiment and then the little pine accent up to the left. And this cable knit just really adds so much, you don't need a lot of other stuff. For my inside, these branches are from the Christmas pine set. So I'm taking the larger branch and I'm going to ink up the mint macaron with the larger branch, or the one that has a little more surface area. And let's just stamp that right up in there. Let's pull in a little Emerald Envy. And this pine bough is just a bit different. It's a little more, it's a little less broad, so it has just a little different look to it. And I stamped that over with the darker or the Emerald Envy. And now the sentiment says, "May the simple joys of the season be yours," and just a little bit of real red. And we're just gonna pop that in up here in the top. There we go. And there's my inside. Just put that down, and again with the fast views, let's just place that on the inside. And my first Christmas card of the season with the new pine boughs and the cable knit sweater. If you have any questions about what I've done, please don't hesitate to ask me, Chris@mystamplady.com. All of the supplies are available in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Thanks so much for stamping with me today.